Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome back to the Organic Show, the Errol Jones Show. Why did I say organic? Because it's growing, it's constantly developing. Our goal is to be on the air up to 4 hours daily. We will reach that as we continue to build our programming. Every Monday evening is the night for the National Black Business Alliance, just general stuff. Things that we want to talk about related to what anything of interest or concern to the Black community, to the new Black city, general topics, and of course, a preview of what's to come for the rest of the week. Tuesdays, Education Day. We'll focus on those issues that impact education, as in you see the name here on the bottom third. BISZ stands for the Biz, Black Instructional School Zone. I am the interim superintendent. Why interim? Because that means temporary. I do not plan to nor want to stay in this position, but my number one responsibility, my number one task, my number one objective at this stage is to replace myself with someone competent to run a Black school district. It dawned on me afternoon as I was having a conversation with someone. The thought crossed my mind that when we say Black Instructional School Zone, to me, I get excited when I hear that. But then there are others who hear that and they think inferiority. They think less than, quote unquote, the white folk. They think subpar. They think embarrassing. They think ineffective. I don't think that. Didn't even cross my mind in that respect. I guess because I had the opportunity to leave an all Black community in Detroit, uh, raised by all Black parents from New York, attend an all Black boarding academy, which most people don't get an opportunity to do. I am, I am overjoyed that I can look back in my history and say, truly, that God allowed me and put me in that position because I had no idea about that school or anything related to it until I met a gentleman, wasn't a gentleman at the time, he was a teenager, lived across the street from me by the name of Ricky Jones, who he probably is listening to this now, Ricky Jones, who introduced me to the school, and I decided that I wanted to go and get out of the city of Detroit where I had been just getting involved in young teenage type things. And I knew it was time to leave and do something before I really found myself in deep trouble being there in the city. And so some sort of way I ended up at Pine Forge Academy. It changed my life. All Black boarding academy. I love that school. It made an impact on me that sent my life in a direction that has been just wonderful the entire journey. Now, it wasn't just because of to that school that enabled me to even want to be a part of what I was going to learn there. And is so on Mondays, Tuesday. So when I hear education, I hear Black education, Black instructional school zone. I don't think inferiority. Not at all. Not at all. I think Tuskegee Airmen excellence. I think long history of Black accomplishments, many of which have been stolen by non-Black entities, individuals, to claim as their own, yet actually, as we're finding out more and more every day, have a Black origin. So when I hear Black Instructional School Zone, I think about excellence. And I know if my name is associated to it, where you see it right there, it says Errol Jones, I don't really have a lot of time to have inferiority just as part of what I do on a regular basis. Now, does that mean I do everything at the top level all the time? No, I start at the bottom and now I'm up, as what's the rap song go? I have no problem with starting at the bottom in areas and things. I have no spending quite a bit of my time in the lower levels of organizations, communities, um, and other things. But at the same time, I do know that it's not necessary to remain at the bottom when you have talents and skills that can allow you to rise to whatever the top is, top. And so now we're calling for Black men especially, and those of us that want to, let's rise to the top. So first of all, on Mondays, we talk about everything and anything. On Tuesdays, we talk about education. On Wednesdays, we talk about business, which is essential, entrepreneurship in particular. On Thursdays, which is tonight, we talk about politics, which is important. And on Fridays, we talk about Bible in particular, which is I was going to say a pet peeve, but it's something that I value enough to share with other people and also to have a platform to share it. And I know there's an audience out there that's interested. And I love the idea of having a conversation about Bible and engaging with people who have questions and issues. Love it, love it. So tonight, let's do our thing on this evening. Let's talk about politics. I've already put together a survey to evaluate our local politicians in the city of Houston, local city council members, up or down or indifferent type vote, nothing to be trying to hurt, harm, or damage unless it's necessary. Individuals. We're looking at our community now. We want to purge ineffectiveness. We want to purge garbage. We want to purge the mentality of a mentality that leads to problematic behavior that interferes with our economic development in our community for everyone in our community, starting with I was going to say preschoolers, but we want to starting with the prenuptial. No, excuse me, not prenuptial, prenatal. Started with the prenatal. Prenuptial is a good word too, Black men. We're going to talk about that, and women prenuptial, but right now we're talking about prenatal. We want to start taking better care of our prenatal Black people, our prenatal voters, so that they can contribute to our upswing in economic development. So we want to do better by them. So Black men, we don't have to wait on the women for that. So I'm calling men to the table because in my personal belief, and people maybe misconstrue my thinking, I think it's very important and very imperative. Does that denigrate the women to a lesser role? Yes. Yes, sir. Lesser is a difference. Lesser in function. Let's take a look at this. What Dr. Claude Anderson suggests for in group politics. Group politics. There's a term that he uses I really love. Quid pro quo. Basically saying, what are you doing for my vote? You want my vote. What are you going to do for me? I need you to tell me. In fact, we need to tell them what we want them to do for our vote. And so that's kind of where we're coming from. One of the things that he suggested is that Black people need to start looking more at what Black people need and start being focused more on those needs and being willing to challenge both parties, both of the two major parties, challenge them both and begin a third party, Black party. I am not in disagreement with that. That's what he suggests, but I am very much in agreement with the idea of Black people coalescing together in a stronger mode. I want to say, the Black Caucus, and there are other different groups that are going to meet under the name of Democratic Party. But it's obviously, in my mind, for me, obviously there's something missing. And I'm thinking that we're going to step into that niche and fill in that niche where we're looking to have more assertive and more aggressive, more talented, capable Black men stepping into that picture with a serious Black agenda as the primary concern, not the survival of the Democratic Party or any other party. Our number one criteria when we come to the table is our agenda. Now, as your survival is in at least some way, shape, form, or fashion is in the same mode or going in the same direction or is beneficial to our agenda, it's my thinking. Now, I'll tell you right off the bat that one of the issues that will come to the table when you start talking about my support and my organization's support as much as possible, we start talking about our support, then I'm going to want to know what you're doing about reparations and what are you doing about it publicly and what's on your documentation on reparations. I want to know that my politicians, not only are they in favor of doing something quote unquote behind closed doors, but they're not afraid to address the issue up front. They're not afraid to let the Caucasians know, or the Asians know, or the Mexicans know, or whomever know that they are doing something in relationship to what Black people need. It's nothing different than the Asian Protection Act. It says Asian, didn't say everybody, did it? It said Asian. Of course, we want everybody to be protected. The LGBTQ legislation, that didn't say everybody, did it? Said LGBTQ legislation, didn't it? But even in spite of that, we don't want anything to happen to them. We don't want anything to happen to us. We don't want anything to happen to them or us. We don't want anything to happen to us or them. But that legislation says LGBTQ. Everybody but Black. Black is almost something we can't say. You can't talk about Black unless you're talking about the wealth gap, unless you're talking about the performance of certain students in school, low performing groups in school. It's okay to talk about Black then. It's fine. You talk about Black, we start talking about ghettos, you start talking about negative things, you talk about countries that is dilapidated and garbage. It's okay to say Black then, but when you say Black community government, people might get shaken up. Black community government, because they don't and won't understand. In fact, that's what should be there instead of Black superintendent, instead of be a superintendent, Black community government, because they won't understand that this is a business think tank that's designed to encourage and promote Black economic development. It is not a tool to overthrow the United States government. Why? Why would you why would Black people, why would Black people and else, why would I want to go out and try to overthrow the United States government? Do I have anything to put in place of the United States government that would work for myself or anyone else? I don't think so. What I'm talking about is a think tank that allows Black people in this community in the United States to operate within the guidelines and structure of the United States government, utilizing it, the structure, and the government to bring about the best possible conditions for the Black community, its neighbors, its friends, and anyone else. So, what's wrong with that? Because the label Black is on it, it will cause some people to be frightened. Okay, what do we do? Let's not do it, because some people with limited knowledge and information will be frightened. So let's toss aside something that's so very valuable and beneficial to our community, because some people might be afraid or intimidated by something they don't understand. The Black community government. What else did Dr. Claude Anderson suggest? He suggested uh, that we turn our attention to the Black community and the needs of the Black community. Let me see one or two other things here before I tell you what our imperative is, burning imperative. Um, he talked about developing a national network where information is being collected on communities and on leaders in the community, what the programs are, who the people are that support the good programs and those kinds of things, who the people that are detrimental. He suggested we have a network that discusses those things on a regular, ongoing basis. Hmm. So I was going to say interesting that he would say that. And then I remembered that, oh, wait, we did use his model, his framework, as a model for the development of our program. So, of course, I'm going to find a lot of things here that are very similar. Another thing he suggested, well, he's dealing with the Electoral College there. I don't want to get into that right now. He suggested mobilizing a reparations movement. Okay. All right. We're all on the same page with a lot of that. We'll talk about that more in depth later, but I want to get to what our burning imperative is. What is our burning imperative in the activities of the National Black Government Association, Black Community Government Black Community Government Alliance? One is the bridge between the seasoned older community and the youthful, energetic community. There's a bridge between the two. It needs to be a bridge so that we can travel back and forth on those mental paradigms and understand where each other is coming from. So, what is our burning imperative? What is it that drives us? Let me share something with you. Burning imperative is simply this: changing lives $1 at a time. Changing lives $1 at a time. I'm going to go over the mission, the vision, the values, the goals, the objectives, the strategies, and the milestones. Let me say it again. We're going over the mission, the vision, the values, the goals, the objectives, the strategies, and the milestones. Slow it down. Number one, the mission. The mission is Black community development through youth entrepreneurship. The mission is Black community development through youth entrepreneurship. The mission, and all of us should know it. The agenda for Black America is, and we'll all be able to recite it because there's no better agenda in the country right now. None. There's no leader proclaiming a better strategy, a better model for getting what we're about to get done. There's no one else in the country. You're listening to the person right now that's on the beat. What it is that I believe he's giving me to do. And my imperative, my burning imperative is this: new businesses this year, 2025. 20,000. So I had to go look that up. And really, I think my stats are going to be off and my research is going to be off because it's very, very quick. Very quick. I was looking to see how many Black people within the first year, but that's within the range of most businesses fail within the first year. 90% of them fail within the first year. 65% of them are gone, something like that. But it's a high failure rate for starting a business. That doesn't mean don't start one. I looked up the numbers, and I think I found that about 30,000 new Black businesses start every year. So when I say we want to start 20,000 new Black businesses on our own, we're talking about that's a tremendous task if those numbers are correct. 20,000 new businesses when they're already starting between about 25 and 30,000 a year. And we're talking about starting 20,000 ourselves, National Black Business Alliance. So I really kind of modified that down to 10. But I think we need to go ahead and strive for excellence. Let's duplicate what's already going on in the country, especially because our target market are not only not only the adults. My number one target market are starting youth businesses. So I'm sure that those numbers are going to be very low in terms of how many youth businesses are started every year. We want to start at least 10 to 20,000 youth businesses. That's the vision. What are the values? We value people. We value passion. We value productivity. And we value what they equal, pleasure. We believe that people that have a passion about something and are productive with it will produce pleasure. Those three things in combination will produce pleasure. So we believe people, productivity, people, passion, productivity equals pleasure. What are our goals? Our goals are to develop entrepreneurs, to develop Black businesses, to increase Black business revenue. Our goal at the end of the day is to increase Black business revenue. All of those other things lead to the increase in Black business revenue. We don't want to just start new Black businesses because if they're not making money, what have we done? So the objective we want to measure actually is, did we increase Black business revenues? I believe we can. Here are the three objectives. Number one, our objectives are written on what we call on the BET model. Um, B and E represent management functions, and the T represents the marketing functions. So if you address your projects from BET standpoint, write goals on BET level, you will address the two main functions of management and the other two main functions of business and marketing. The first two are management. So B, building teams, E, earning income. Both of those are management functions, and T is telling others that's the marketing. So what's our B goal? Our B goal is to build teams, roughly 50,000 teams of youth business specialists. A youth business specialist is a young person that's completed our course of training and is earning a minimum of $500 monthly. They can do everything else academically, but if operation and recoup their financial investment, so they can't be certified in our program. But that if they earn the $500 plus all the other academic and achievements and community-based, project-based achievements, then they can be certified. Number two, want them to earn an average of want them to earn an average of $500 a month. I'm laughing because I remember I just posted something. They would start off with the minimum earning of $40. I thought that was very funny. I don't want to explain that now, but it's really beneficial that they would earn $40 starting off. So B is 50,000 youth business specialist teams. Number two, E is earning income, an average of $500 plus monthly. And T is telling others. We want to tell 1 million subscribers every month about what we're doing and the success of what we're doing. 1 million subscribers at $1 a month, which is what we charge. That's why I say changing lives $1 at a time. If we have 1 million subscribers supporting our program, that gives us a base of $1 million monthly. For 12 months, that's $12 million. You know what I call that? Well, in our program, I call that a good start. It's just a good start. It really is just a good start. Now, if that $12 million is coming in, we pay out 50% of it back to the individuals. That's why this is so important. Youth entrepreneurship, those young people how to do what they need to do to own and operate a business. And one of the things that they do and can own and operate a business is to help you promote yours. So we show them how to do that, train them to be youth business specialists, but do it as an entrepreneur so they can earn income doing it. And by doing the things that we teach them, they'll also be leading mama and daddy and to keep them. So I know what I can do with elementary and middle school students. Notice I didn't say high school. I know what I can do with high school students too, but I don't want to have to compete with high schoolers chasing sex exploits. I don't really have energy and time for a lot of that. I don't really have a lot of energy and time, even though you'll find it at middle school level too, with a lot of the drugs and all that type of stuff, partying. I just don't have time and energy for that. So those high schoolers that are very, very motivated, self-motivated, holler at me. because I'm not coming out to search for you. You just come holler at me. If anyone finds you, it will be a middle school or elementary school student. College students, that's another breed. Now let's do this. This bottom third here says superintendent of the Black Instructional School Zone. Tonight is about politics. We need to reorganize ourselves. So we're looking at putting in place the Black community government with the purpose of being a think tank for Black community economic development. And so that's who we are. I am the mayor for Black America, not elected, but selected by the owner of my company, which happens to be me, to go in and work on things that would help bring community up and do it in a way that is effective, efficient, and assertive and aggressive. You're the president of Black America. You don't know what a president does. A mayor, you know what a mayor does. Most of you do. A mayor gets in the trenches. A mayor is going to be concerned about the everyday things that's going on your table, unlike a president. So as a mayor, I've been appointed by the owner of my company, which is me. I've been self-appointed to provide services to Black people all across the country as a mayor would. Now, in order to do that, we need to have an infrastructure. Herein lies the infrastructure. Number one, let's start with education. We need to have our own school boards for every school, district, and campus. We break down the school board, which consists of adults and young people who will observe, report, organize, devise strategies and plans to benefit the school, and implement with their own budgets and be paid to do it. These are not volunteer positions. Keep the volunteer time to go volunteer for whoever you want to volunteer for. In the Black Instructional School Zone and in the New Black City, we're about having dollars circulating in our community. No apologies for that. No apologies for dollars circulating in our community. None. So campus-based school board members are compensated, young people and adults, for monitoring and building their local campuses and working together in local districts. Now, let me tell you this as well. The Black Instructional School Zone does this. We're a virtual school zone. We have already annexed Alief ISD, Fort Bend ISD, and Houston ISD into the Black Instructional School Zone. So those three ISDs are annexed as part of the Black Instructional School Zone. And everything and anything Black in that school district is of concern to us. So Black people, be it known that your concerns are top priority. You do not come last. You're not inferior. We're not going to second guess you. We're going to hold you accountable. Thinking that because you're Black, anything goes is true. We know that some of you are going to have great difficulty with the truth. We know. This is the Black Instructional School Zone. We don't play those games. Love, kindness, and all that, but we know our people. Come on, y'all, let's get it together and go up. We need 100 Black men to step to the table and help with this. Now, this is a business venture. Therefore, you teachers that are ready to get out of your classroom, we have positions for you. It's a business. If you'd like to tutor, we want to help you own your tutoring program that does not have to have contact with students, virtual or in any other manner, but you get paid because you own the tutoring program. Would you like to own a program deal with more children, like a classroom, through the Black Instructional School Zone, and not have to teach any subjects because you are coordinating, organizing, making sure that you're providing your students with everything that they need to be successful? They have a teacher. They're in public school. That teacher's supposed to teach. And in the Black Instructional School Zone, we will hold the teachers accountable. Now, we're not going to make the mistake to think that teachers bear the full brunt of the failure of the educational system. No, because you go up the ladder. Is that principal providing that teacher with everything that they need? Really? If that principal is or is not, we need to know why or why not, and we need to find out from the superintendent at the local school district or the directors and then the superintendent right on up the ladder to find out why is this teacher in a situation where they're shortchanging our children. I'm silent because I'm thinking about the reaction these schools have when they clearly understand that we have no problem dropping lawsuits on them as individuals and as a district. That includes teachers, department heads, chairs, superintendents. If you are not doing your best, whatever that might be, to be fair and relevant to the Black children and the Black community in your neighborhood, we're going to have a problem because we cannot, as Black men, first of all, sit around and allow you to disrespect us, our women, and our children. And whether you see us or not, if you disrespect our children, you're disrespecting us. If you disrespect our children, you're disrespecting their mamas and their daddies and their pastors and all of us Black leaders in the community. If you're disrespecting our children, you're disrespecting all of us. I just pray that you are not a Black-skinned individual disrespecting your own people. If so, we're going to have a problem. Let's take a look at this really quickly and then break it down. Here are the people that we're looking for right now for the Black community government. We need to seat 100 deputy mayors. I'm talking here particularly about the city of Houston. 100 deputy mayors. Well, you say, Errol, why do we need 100? Well, it's a numbers game. Do you think that I, as the mayor for Black Houston, have time to really deal with all the issues in the city of Houston? Do you think I even have an interest in all the issues in the city of Houston? No, it's too much. So 100, you think 100 deputy mayors will have enough time and energy to do all of that? No, 100 deputy mayors is not even enough. So those 100 deputy mayors will be responsible for helping organize 1,000 city council members, and then would be quite a bit that can work together to achieve certain goals and objectives for their local community. So you might have a council member that's responsible for 3 or 4 church groups. Or you might have a council member that's responsible for organizing the lawn, the services that service local communities in the city of Houston. You might have a council member over that because their number one responsibility as a business. See, these council members are not governmental entities. They're there to perform certain services. Number one, if that council member may have a yard service business, so therefore he's going to be a council member, be responsible for whatever contracts that we might want to offer for him to do yards in particular Black neighborhoods. And if everything works like it should, and have it subsidized so that the Black people in the neighborhood can have nice lawns and have this. Hey, it's a new sheriff in town, homies. This is something we need to do. We do this for ourselves. We don't have to wait on anybody. 1,000 city council members, 200 state reps. Now, state reps are people that have a little bit broader vision than just the local neighborhood, which is extremely important. And the state reps would understand how important they are. But they have the ability to go beyond just the local neighborhoods and work to coordinate multiple neighborhoods to achieve certain kinds of things. So we have a number of state reps, about 200 state reps. And then lastly, we are right at 1,000 judges. 1,000 judges. What do the Black community government judges do? They judge. When issues come up, we lay it before them in a ballot. and they judge. And we look at the results of the survey. So we'll get a good understanding of what our people are thinking about on certain issues. When there's an issue related to a crime and the penalty that a person receives or did not receive, or treatment they did or did not receive through the judicial system, that will be sent to our judges to give an opinion what the Black community thinks about what just happened. If it's a store in the community that is doing things or not protecting the community by allowing people outside, standing outside their store, selling and distributing drugs and all that kind of stuff, well, our judges can vote and say, well, what do we want to do? Is there anything we want to do about that? Maybe, maybe not. Let the judges handle it. It's really like a focus group. And so you have it. I just mentioned to you 2,300 Black individuals, none of which can be elected officials. We're talking about 2,300 Black people in our community being paid to do it. That's 2,300 new jobs. 2,300 new jobs made available to Black people in the community to work from home and work remote. 2,300 new jobs, people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Probably not fully, because it's actually around 4,000 some odd jobs, because everything we just told you about adults who have youth-oriented issues that are tied to the adult-oriented issues. And so you have two entities here with competing and collaborative issues on the table, and both parties being funded and not having to ask anybody for anything because it's self-funded, because their mayor thought enough about them to sacrifice his own livelihood and design a plan, a program, a strategy that makes sure that the people in his Black community get something that they really need, which one of the things they really need is some money. Is some money. Now, let me get a little bit personal here. I'm going to call off some names of people in the city of Houston who I have developed a certain level of respect for. And I'm going to tell you why I respect them. Tell you why I'm going to send them a letter of invitation, inviting them to serve as honorary positions. So none of them are actual positions that they actually have. They're honorary positions where we were respectful, whether they're as senators, city council members, board members, or whatever. They monitor what we're doing, hold us accountable, vote when asked to vote, even if you vote incognito, so no one would have to know what you have to say. But the bottom line is we're looking to these people as elders in our community. Let me go over this list of names, none of which have I contacted with the specifics about what I'm talking about now. We'll talk more about it on the next show. Pastor Edward Smalls. I'm recommending him and inviting him to be a senator in our new Black city. Why a senator? One, because I think he's the only one on my list here who actually ran for the Senate in Texas. I think that this man is history. I see the people that he has networked with and does network with, and he's still in the trenches. And I have committed to raising $1 million for the Martin Luther King Center, of which he is the director. I think it's over there affiliated with, I'm trying to think of the name of the church. but very prominent church. I'll think of it in a minute. Second person who I would recommend as a senator, and I would dare to say that this is, from my standpoint, the most respected black male leader that I have in my heart and mind, in my experience in Houston in the 20 some odd years that I've been there. And that's Robert Muhammad. I respect his leadership. I respect his swagger and stature. I respect his knowledge base. I respect his dignity. I respect his manliness. Those are all qualities that I really respect. And I find them to be, at this stage, not equaled from my perspective in the city. So therefore, I'd have to rank him as my number one black male in the city as far as leadership from my perspective. Number 3, Lenita Hale. As a senator, I should say her work. I respect her work. Consistently doing for those that are less fortunate. Consistently. Now, that is not my forte. My forte is to find people like a Lenita Hale, encourage and do everything I can to help her do what she does. And the next person on here goes right along with what she does is John Marsden. When I saw John out there cleaning up around dumpsters for homeless people, something again that's not in my forte, not in my wheelhouse, not that I'm above those things, just not my temperament. Unless I really just have to, but I never really find myself having to. And that's not the thing that I would spend my time going to do per se. Things that I need to do that could have a larger impact, like helping those people that are out there on the street who are living around dirty circumstances and homes or have income or food. So when I see John, very impressed because he doesn't have to. So I admire John Marsden for at least 2 things here. His compassion, because he truly appears to care about what he's doing in cleaning up and feeding and helping the community. That's high level compassion. It's not my forte. I did a spiritual gifts test. That wasn't high on my list. And I had to blame God for not making that high on my list. But he put leadership and those kinds of things high at my list, where the compassion is there, but sometimes you have to sit on it because you have to make hard decisions. So it's not easy. But John Marsden is an example of compassion coming from a strong male leader. He's oriented brother. So I highly respect John Marsden and recommend him. I'm going to invite him to be one of our senators in the new black city. Then there's another lady who will be probably surprised that I suggested her, because for some reason there is an aura about her name on my Facebook page and her interactions and her contributions. And she is the chairman, I believe, of the Prairie View Chamber of Commerce, Miss Marilyn Jones. I respect her for her business attitude, whatever she has displayed that has caused me to see her as business, and her wisdom, not frivolous, not simple business concepts and ideas, but I've seen enough, haven't seen a lot, but I've seen enough that I would recommend her for a position as a senator in our new black city. Another person that I would have to recommend, who I have not had major interactions with, but I have to recommend this person because of legacy. Deloyd Parker. What he does in that community is amazing, and I don't even know what and still being there doing what he does is amazing by itself, because I do know that he's there helping people. So when I see people helping people, I love that. So I have to have Deloitte Parker, not just as a state rep focused mainly on Houston, but I think his legacy goes beyond Houston. And if it isn't and doesn't, it should. So Deloitte Parker, one of our senators. Then there's another gentleman who I've had an opportunity at one time and to watch him grow and develop as a business person, as a spiritual person, as a leader, and in fact outgrow the church in which we were operating together in. And that's Pastor David Sincere, who has gone on now to be pastoring 2 locations in the city of Houston, but has been recognized at the state for his community level work. And so I have to say that the reason why I have to place David Sincere, an invitation to David Sincere, which impressed me much about him, is not just his name being David Sincere, it's his sincerity. He is for real about what he's doing. It's just in him. It's his blood. He lives it, breathes it. It is who David is as a pastor. And I'm hard on pastors. He's also a community leader. The next person, there's only 4 more, so stick with me. Mr. Andre Matthews, educator, leadership and youth-oriented, serious-minded leader, community-oriented leader, optimistic leader, skilled leader, academic leader. I think he's just now, if he has not already completed his doctoral program, sharp guy. I have to put him on our team as a new Black City leader, elder. 2 more, 3 more. Next one, D. Mars, networking. Who in Houston that's engaged in any activities in the Black community does not know who D. Mars is? So I have to put D. Mars in there as being the face, really, of Black Houston in networking, from my perspective, from all that I've seen. D. Mars. I've done business with him. In fact, he designed our Legacy Leaders Academy logo, which we still use, probably 10 years ago. Another gentleman, Dr. Chris Spellman. I respect Dr. Spellman's knowledge base. I respect his wisdom. I respect he's willing to hold accountable. It has called me on different occasions and gently attempted to guide me back into a. Obviously, I must respect Dr. Spellman because he's still on my list here as a senator. And lastly, I am so happy to extend this honorary position to someone that I really, truly admire for a number of reasons, for someone who would make me shudder on different occasions, to someone who has never turned down my phone call when I would call in need for anything. And I have never turned down his phone call in need of anything and everything. And most people probably would not know about our relationship because it wasn't out on Front Street, nor did it need to be, nor am I trying to clout chase right now. I'm just paying respect to a really good person, Senator Jerry Monroe. Jerry Monroe. People can say what they want to say about Jerry, and you already know he wouldn't care. He would not care. But Jerry, I respect him. because he had a heart of a lion, a Yates lion. And we united because I am a Detroit lion. And we connected. The Black community, government, people, out of the stage of talking about it. We're in full implementation mode now. We will start using these platforms to communicate, to disseminate, to make a difference. I am not anti-Democratic Party. I'm anti being stupid. If the Democrats want Black male participation, then the Democrats need to wake up and start appealing to Black men. If the Democrats want Black females participation, then the Democrats need to wake up and start appealing to Black females. I would strongly advise the party to start taking a second look at the needs, desires, and interests of Black men, because we're stepping up to the table and providing a barrier between you, the party, and our interests of the party. So what we want to do is this. We want to come to the table with an agenda to negotiate and to work together to come to a reasonable plan of action that we can both agree to and go Democratic nominee. If that does not be the case, go Democratic nominee. Go on about your business, because obviously Black people are not your business. Just think about it.